So we go back to after the pay-per-view, and Shivani's trying to get a word with Kenny Omega, who is so dejected after the loss to MJF. He just tells Tony, I've got nothing to say. And he goes, he sits down, and there in the trainer's room, he sits next to Will Ospreay. And both men are just reeling after their respective losses. Omega laments that he let everyone down, and Ospreay brings up Wrestle Kingdom 11 when you lost to Okada and says, Omega just says, I don't have any time left, but you do. You've got the heart of a wrestler. It's all you from here on in. Will says, we still have this, and said, it's my dream to be AEW champion. I hope it's yours too, Kenny. And Ospreay calls Kenny his hero, and Omega is left there on his own. Says, maybe he can't give up. Maybe there is still a chance. And he's getting up and he's pacing and he's got to acknowledge no more cameras here. I was like, I don't know if we needed that at this moment here. It was like, I was into this scene already. I will say this, there are few performers that could probably pull this off without it getting like a little too cringy and such. And there were certainly like cringy lines here, but they were not delivered in that way. But what did you think about the heart to heart here on the medical table?
I feel like Kenny of like maybe like 4 weeks ago, like I it would have been hard for me to see him in a scene like this. But like I think over the past 2 weeks, like Kenny seems to have suddenly gotten a lot more serious about his acting, and I think
to his
Kenny,
betterment, yeah, dropping certainly. Like the wise cracking delivery.
Yeah, this is about as far from like, you know, bottle chugging Kenny Omega on BTE as like we've gotten in quite some time. And I thought Kenny was just excellent here. Both men were excellent here. To me, that this was, you know, a scene that I think effectively establishes how down in the dumps both of them are. And it perfectly sets up both of their comeback stories to the point where like it makes you wonder if this will be the big match at the end, you know, on the biggest show of the year. Could this be the
or could
event?
These two be in the final of the Owen? Like that could also be potential. Like they both want to go for one more title shot, and they're in opposite brackets. And you could viably see either one of them winning the tournament, because that is going to be the struggle of the Owen, is convincing anyone that Will could not win the Owen. And yes. Omega might be the only believable opponent you could see winning.
Yeah. But I do want to consider like that this could be, or maybe even should be, the all-in main event.
It's possible. There were many people who thought coming out of Dynasty, like this could have been our main event, like pretty much set coming out of this.
What is the biggest match AEW can make?
I do think it's probably this one.
Yeah. So I wonder. I do wonder if that could be the destination. I do also love the fact that like Ospreay used Wrestle Kingdom 11 as like his sort of anecdote to suggest like why he believes in Kenny. And you know, AEW is still a relatively young company, but like they have a decade plus or more of like history to play with these guys' individual careers, because they recognize New Japan history as their own history. So you know, this partnering and this relationship, I think, is that much more crucial to AEW for reasons like this, because you know, like people with WWE history, they don't exactly reference in much the same way.
So sometimes it'll get brought up to us and it's like, oh, it only had this many minutes of wrestling. And you and I, we always say it's like, if it's good, it's good. The first half hour of this show, there was like no wrestling, and it was excellent. I thought these segments back to back they set up so much, and like this is what you want out of your television. Like it's not like quality is quality, and it's like you are enhancing interest by how you shoot your angles or matches that lead to them. And I thought this was just a tremendous start to the show.
It's something I didn't even process until you mentioned it to me. But like, especially coming off of a pay-per-view that is so like it carried so many consequences for like the losers.
Exactly. You know? Like that is. Like if you missed this show, it's like, yeah, there was some great wrestling, but look at the losses and how this is going to spin these two into like they were going in with the thought we had to win these matches, and now we lost. And how do we rebound? It's like it's the consequence of the loss.
And as a result, you come up with like wonderful segments like this that felt like it was laying the foundation for what I think could be the all-in main event. So this is a very important segment.
It is WrestleMania month at postwrestling.com. Wei Ting and John Pollock go live all WrestleMania week beginning Monday, April the 13th. Sign up for the Post Wrestling Cafe and you will get live shows all week long leading into our coverage that weekend of WrestleMania 42. This month, we're also bringing you reviews of Spring Break 2 from New Orleans in 2018 and a special Patrons Pick edition of Rewind Away. Sign up now at postwrestlingcafe.com, and this month, new subscribers get 50% off for the first month. Head on over to postwrestlingcafe.com.